Are you trying to figure out how to get things done? Are you trying to look for knowledge that can actually help you do something, be better at what you do? Hi, I'm Joyce Mbaya, founder of ZD, where we provide affordable online courses for Africa. This is the place for you, the ZD podcast, where we have inspiring conversations with amazing people. And the ultimate goal is to help you know more so you can do more.
So today we have a special guest with us on the ZD podcast, Eunice Maina. Of course, you're going to hear more about her. But basically, she's a coach, an amazing coach, by the way. She's also an instructor on the ZD platform. She has facilitated several courses there. And also she is a boss. When I say boss, not in a bad way. She's the owner of an insurtech. We are going to hear more about it, Bismart. And also she is an author. She has authored 2 books. So, of course, we are also going to hear more about that. But firstly, I want us to do our introductions, get to know who is talking, who is on the microphone before we proceed. So, I'm Boniface Ontomwa, and I know you've heard me from the previous podcast. I'm the ZD project manager, and also I have my colleague with me here today. I will give him also a chance to say hi before we get to hear from Eunice.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Boniface. Surprise, it's still me, Kevin, content lead. Yeah, I'm here every week. I'm usually the background audience who throws some questions in case we need some. Yeah, and I'm happy to be here, happy to hear from Eunice. I know these people will gain a lot. When I hear her talk, I usually get very motivated. I can sell you anything. I can sell you a pen. Yes,
when you say you can sell a pen, you're talking about one of our books.
Yes.
But she will talk more about that. So thanks, Kevin, for joining us today. And Eunice, thank you also for taking your time out of your very busy schedule to at least talk to us, create more awareness so that we understand who is Eunice Maina. And so, Eunice, just on a basic introduction, like if someone wanted to is looking for Eunice Maina, like who is Eunice Maina? Basically, like that basic introduction, who is Eunice Maina?
You're asking if someone is looking for Eunice Maina, they can find her on Google.
What a good way to ask.
They can find her. I mean, if you know her, then you know where to find her. But she's on Facebook, on Twitter, in all the social media platforms.
Okay, but when we're talking about now the world of entrepreneurship, coaching, mentorship, and business world, who is Eunice Maina?
Yeah. Before she could be searched on Google, who was Eunice and where is she now?
Okay, Eunice is a village girl. Grew up in the village. It's where I come from, there are hills, so we used to go and fetch water from the river, and then you go uphill. At least you had to fill, we used to call them drums. These are 200 liters tanks. So for a day, at least before you go to school, you do at least 40 liters. And then after you come from school, you do the other 160. And then, of course, we used to raise cows. So, there's Napier grass to be cut. And those days, there was no mechanization as it is now. So I grew up in the village. And I won't give so much details, but there's a lot of story in my growing up. And then, of course, I went to... Actually, Bonnie, you don't know this, but in my primary school, there was no Christian Union. And I actually started the Christian Union, although it didn't go far after I left the primary school. But myself and my mom, we started a Christian Union in our primary school.
Wow.
And then high school, I've always been a leader, because in high school, when we joined Form 1, I remember the first Sunday, the Form 1s were called to the front, and nobody wanted to lead. So I started a song. I started singing a song, and I remember. Let me sing it. I sang it. Sesea Bwana Sesea. Sesea Bwana Sesea. Sesea Sesea. And then the whole hall was laughing. Everybody was laughing. And I thought they were laughing because they enjoyed the song. Just to get down to realize they were laughing because I sang Sesea instead of Chezea. I was nicknamed Sesea. What a way to begin a high school, imagine.
I think the way you can look at it is you made a powerful first impression.
But I was nicknamed. I cried. It was very humiliating. I cried. I remember praying God to give me English. And after praying, I didn't stop there. I decided to make use of my dictionary. Before I spoke, I pronounced the words as they're supposed to be. Remember, in primary, we were taught English in Kikuyu.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult. And that is where my leadership journey actually began, because after that, I was chosen to be the class representative of the Form 1s in the CU. And after that, I became the vice chair and then the chair of the CU, and I was also a dorm captain. Fast forward, I went to the university to study chemistry, BSc chemistry, mathematics, and geology. Geology.
Well, okay. Those are some technical subjts.
Scientists.
Eh?
Yeah, she is. She is a scientist.
She's a scientist.
Yes. You could say that. Scientist by study. But then, of course, I dropped geology after second year and continued with chemistry and math. So I graduated with BSc chemistry and math. When I was in campus, I used to work. I've never, apart from first year holiday, all the other holidays, I always worked. I had a job. I would go to industrial area and would befriend the watchmen. When I befriended them, I go away and come back the following day and tell them I had a meeting. I had an appointment with the boss because they already told me the name of the boss. I know they told me what time he comes, when is the best time for him to be seen. So by the time I'm coming back after 2 days, they actually believe that I had an appointment, and while I didn't.
That's smart.
What? That is very smart. You are giving people secrets on how to get to the bosses. Wow. Yeah, like she has played. She's using science even in life. Wow.
No, but Bonnie, do you know the most important people are those watchmen?
Yeah,
I know people are, they don't value them, they don't respect them. But one thing my dad taught me is when you go somewhere, the most important person is the watchman. Befriend them. Those are the people who will open doors for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, so that has been. So whenever I go, I want to get in touch with them and be friendly to them, because they can decide whether you see the boss or not. It doesn't matter how much you know the boss. But for me, it was more of a survival. I was coming from the village and I didn't want to go back home.
So you were at the University of Nairobi, right?
Yes, I was at the University of Nairobi.
Okay.
Yeah, and remember, I didn't want to go back home to fetch water and cut napier grass. So, and then I didn't have a godfather. I didn't have a relative in Nairobi who would connect me. So I had to find my own connection, and my connection came through watchmen.
What a story. So, and then after that, now, Eunice, of course, you graduate. And then what do you do next now after you've graduated?
Graduation, I worked still working when I was in campus. So I went back to one of the companies I had worked with during my studies, and I got a job. Of course, I used to do a good job, so they never denied me an opportunity. So I got a job as a quality control officer. Basically, this is a lab technician for a pharmaceutical company. And the work entails quality control, ensuring that if it is paracetamol 400 mg, you do not exceed. It's not 401 or 399.5 mg. Yeah, so that was work, and actually going to the manufacturing, ensuring they're keeping up with the standards, the cleanliness and all.
Okay.
But I did that for 3 months, and I realized clearly I was not cut out for the lab.
Wow!
I resigned.
And that is the field that you had studied campus, right?
Yes, I had not only studied, but I had also worked in that field.
Wow! And then after 3 months
experience
of graduating, you decide now, like, this is not my thing.
Yeah.
Like, you never felt like that during your campus days?
My campus days, it was survival, my friend. I was looking for money.
Okay.
Yes. Now I'm out of campus and I'm looking at my life, 10 years, 5 years from now. So I had to figure out what is it that I can do for at least 5 years. And I realized being in the lab, because just my own evaluation, I thought for me to be a manager in the pharmaceutical company, I needed to work there for at least 3 years so that I get a promotion. But for me, 3 years looked a long time to be in the lab.
An ambitious lady,
So the best option at that time was, let me quit. The earlier, the better than waiting for 2 years. And then I quit. So I quit earlier and late. And I got another job at a training institution called IAT, Institute of Advanced Technology.
Okay, so was that like on purpose getting a job there, or you just said for survival, so let me just try this?
No, this one, it's a job I desired to do. One, because it was a training job. I felt I was more cut out for people and not for pipettes and burettes.
And machinery.
Of course, my father would have wanted me to continue with chemistry so that I be a manufacturer. Yeah, but that did not happen. But I mean, it can happen. We don't close doors. Yeah, so this one, they used to hire fresh graduates. And actually, let me be precise. My husband, then he was my boyfriend, is the one who had applied for me this job.
Oh, he felt like you had a gift in that area.
Yes, so he was applying for his job, and then he also applied for me.
Oh, okay.
It was the same place.
At the IAT, yes.
Oh.
So, interestingly, I was called for the interview and he wasn't.
Unachoma picha.
We don't know what they are looking for.
It's a double bet. So at least one went through.
Yes. Imagine if he had not applied for me. So all of us would not have gotten.
Yeah.
So I went through interviews. They were very rigorous interviews, but I don't like to forget things, because the first interview, of course, was an IQ test, which I passed, and then the second one was a face-to-face. Again, I went through, but the most important interview that I went was the third interview, where we were taken for a weekend in the forest. Camping, and imagine it's an interview.
Wow.
Yes, you haven't gotten a job, but it's from Friday. You go to that forest that is near Kibra. It's called Loaran Camp. Yes, and you camp there until Sunday. You don't know what they are looking for. You just stay by the fireside.
So they didn't tell you anything at all? Like, we're just going camping?
No, we're just going camping. And I remember one of the most important questions that was asked. Mm-hmm. We were just by the fireside, and it was like a conversation. And the interviewer said, imagine you're going for a burial, and everybody, is just walking and going to view the body, and it gets to your turn, and you realize that it is you who is in that box. Is it called a box? What is it called?
Coffin.
The coffin. That coffin. He said, give your eulogy. And what would your parents say? What would your siblings say? What would your employer say? What would your friends say about you? Just share, write. So that was the first time I wrote my eulogy. And that was transformative. And that affirmed that I was meant to work with people.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. And I've seen by the it worked for some people. I did try to do it one time, but I didn't finish it. Writing your eulogy right now before you die, sometimes it can help you look back, think, and reflect on what your purpose is. And I think maybe that now provoked you, like it evoked some emotions within you, or like, for me, I'm meant to impact people. And I know, of course, you got a chance to work there. What was your role there? Were you like a trainer, or what did you do there?
Yes, after the interview, those of us who succeeded, we were taken through a 3-month training. The training was called Management of Learning, MOL. Through that training, is basically we were trained that you are not a custodian of knowledge. You are a facilitator of knowledge. That is where I learned training as a facilitator of knowledge, not a custodian of knowledge. Yes, for 3 months, I was trained to be a trainer, and then I became a trainer. Now, the most interesting thing is we were training IT, and I had not studied IT. During the management of learning training, you trained how to learn quickly and facilitate learning.
Wow.
So when you go to class the first day, you look like an expert of 5 years.
Wow.
So that is where my journey began as a trainer. And then, of course, through the institution, they sponsored us for all the IT courses you needed to do. So I am a Microsoft system engineer. I am a A+ certified professional. A+ means user support, basically the hardware and all. We used to repair the laptops, the computers. And then N+ means networking professional.
Amazing.
And then I have both a diploma in computer studies and an advanced international diploma in computer studies.
Okay,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now Eunice is living this glorious life. She's moving from Mombasa to Kisumu to Nakuru to do the trainings. You're transforming lives. But then, as I know your story, another shift happens. Like, there's something big that again happens in your life. And I want us, because this is now we're headed to even what you currently do, like how you ended up even on ZD with insurance and such stuff. So Eunice, because if someone would listen to the story until now, they would be like, she's living a very glorious life. But then I know there's another shift that happens in your life. Could you take us there, even as you now lead us even to where you currently are?
Yes, another shift happened. And this happened, I read the book, The Power of Vision by Myers Monroe. Mm-hmm. And I was able
Is it Miles Monroe? Miles? I'm a Myers.
Yes, whatever you call it.
Oh, okay.
And don't remind me the Sesea story. Now, these days, I don't care how I pronounce. Okay?
No, I thought there is another guy named Myers. So it's
Myers
the Miles
Monroe.
guy.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's Miles Monroe.
Okay, sawa.
That one. But I just want to remind you, these days, even if you make fun of my pronunciation, I will not try to be better. I'm good.
What?
You're antagonizing our guest.
All right.
Okay.
So yes. So and I realized I read quite a number of books. There was Myers Monroe, The Power of Vision, and then there was the Closing the Sale by Zig Ziglar. By the I don't understand why I was reading books about sales.
Yeah.
But I needed to understand how this whole selling goes about. After reading The Power of Vision and a few other books, another one by Robert Kiyosaki on the Rich Dad Poor Dad. When I read the Rich Dad Poor Dad, I decided I wanted to be rich.
Okay.
And so to be rich, from the Rich Dad Poor Dad, I knew I needed to sell. I needed to learn how to sell. So that is how I started reading books on sales. And now combined with The Power of Vision, I knew I was going to be a salesperson. And the first thing that I did was to go to my boss and explain to him that I can sell our programs, to corporates and be able to get attachments for our students in those corporates. But then my boss said that is his job. So I knew then my time at IAT was over and I needed to look for a sales job. And I resigned. I remember very well, it was my birthday, 7th of January, 2009. But it's my sister who wrote for me the resignation letter. Because I kept telling her I am going to resign, but I never did. So on this day, which was my birthday, she gave
you a gift.
Yes, she actually told me,
what a gift. Yeah.
This is my birthday gift for you. Please just go and give it to your boss. Do not open.
What?
Oh,
Yes.
So you didn't know what you're handing in?
No. And I had it in, and I'm looking at my boss. He's reading, and he said, "Where are you going?"
What? That is hilarious.
and immediately I knew it was a resignation letter. Yeah. So I told him, I don't know where I'm going. All I know is that just like Jesus, on the first day, I'll be at home. On the second day, I don't know. But on the third day, I will rise and I will do something.
Amazing. What an amazing way to talk about it.
She's doing selling, and that moment she sold her resignation.
She even sold her resignation.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so then he tried to convince me that, you don't resign without another job. And I said, I don't care. I am done. Yes, it's my time to go. And then after that is when I remembered I had an insurance policy.
Now, before that, Eunice, what did your boyfriend say when you decided to sign?
I was married.
You were married.
My husband now.
What did he say?
My husband always wondered, because he would drop me to work every day and I was complaining, and he was like, just find another job. So that is why my sister had my husband complain about how I complain about my job. Because I had, I was tired of training in that institution and I needed a sales job. Yeah. So so when I resigned, of course, my husband was like, okay, so what next? Then I remembered I had a policy that I had taken with Britam. Who resigns first and then start thinking about their financial commitment. Remember
but
now.
I think, what was your first idea to sell insurance when you wanted to go into sales?
No. I'm coming to that. Yeah.
Okay.
So because I had a policy with Britam, we have resigned. So on the same day I went, Britam was just upstairs. So I walked in there And I found one of the unit managers and I asked him, what happens when you don't have a job and you have a policy? And of course, we went to the records and looked at my policy, and it said, but we have jobs here. So who are you? I mean, who has lost a job? I said, it's me. We have jobs here. And like, what do you mean? What jobs? He asked me, have you ever considered selling? I told him I'm looking for a sales job. Then, but I told him I'm not looking to sell insurance. So don't tell me about insurance. Then, of course, he asked me questions. Why not insurance? I said, I think it's very hard. I think it looks, I mean, it's not presentable product to sell. People don't like insurance agents. And then he said, but how did you buy? He said, I bought because I sought my own information, understood the product, and I bought the product. So he said, then there are many people like you. I'm like, what? Okay. Tell me more. It's still not convincing. So he produced a list, a payroll. Remember, it was 7th of January, yeah? So he gave me the payroll for December for all the people, and their income. Now, the thing with selling insurance is that your income is not a secret because it's commission. Nobody pays your salary. So, and I saw somebody who had earned 250,000. That time I was earning 5K. And I was like, what?
Tell me about this 10%. Person.
Yes, I said, tell me about this person. And like, okay, how educated are they? No, she's a Form 4 dropout.
What?
I was like, what? Masomo yote, What is masomo? All this education. And somehow I was sold the idea of, remember, I'm looking for a sales job to be rich. So I was somehow sold that idea. But then now, I have to sell the idea to my husband.
Yeah.
So I go home and I say, I'm thinking of selling insurance. And he's like, not in my house.
Why that reaction?
The reaction is, and this you can find in my book, Sell Me This Pen, is a lot of misconception and a lot of, what do you call it? Where you generalize people.
The myths.
The myths, yes, the myths about selling insurance. And the perception is that these are hawkers, these are cons, and these are promiscuous people. So what my husband thought is, you're going to be an insurance agent, to be hawking insurance? No. So he was just protecting me. It wasn't in a bad way. He was just like, really, all those qualifications, all the education, and you want to hawk insurance? That was in the mind. By the way, it was not only him. I tell my dad and he says, just know that you have no job.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I meet my pastor and I tell him I'm considering starting to sell insurance. And he's like, you leave such a noble profession to join the profession of dads?
It seems it had a very bad perception, yeah.
Yes, and you can see all the closest people. This is what they saw insurance sales as. I wasn't different because that's what I thought too. But then, looking at the incomes and all that, I was like, oh, okay. So these guys really earn money. And it took a long time to convince. The only person I needed to convince to sell to was my husband. It took quite a bit. It actually took my sister-in-law to talk to him for me to be allowed to sell insurance. And anyway, I was allowed and I started selling. And for 3 months, I did not sell a single policy because the people I called, my students were working. I was training adults who are working. And when I called them and I told them I've left IAT And now I am selling insurance. That was the last call they picked. The next time, they never picked my calls. I remember one person who made me wait for 4 hours.
4 hours.
Yes, he was working in the bank. So we had an appointment. I remember the appointment was at 4 p.m. 5, he had not showed up. 6, he had not showed up. 7, he had not showed up. 8, he didn't show up. And I went home and I found my husband, and he looked with that eye of, he's not talking, but Nilea, where are you coming from? And that day I made a decision that I will not work with customers after 6 p.m. Remember, I've not sold a single sale.
Yeah.
Yes, but I made a decision. I will not even work after 6. I will only work between 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Because I need to be with my family. I am not going home to be looked at with that eye.
Yeah.
And then, of course, where I'm coming from, my mother taught me that, as a wife, you have to behave in a particular way. So I was not going to be different. And that was the beginning of my success, because after I made that decision, then I was very keen to only find customers who are willing to work with me. And this is a mistake that we salespeople make, because we think that everybody is my customer. So there are those who have, are going to waste your time. They're not your customers, but they maybe because you look good, they want to spend time with you, but they will never buy. And so I said, anyone who is interested in buying a policy will make time within the working hours, and they will buy. And on month 4, I was able to do 5 policies. I sold 5 policies on month 4.
Wow.
That was my first month.
That was,
But it was not all rosy, because after that, I think I didn't sell for another 3 months. Because you see, in sales, you need to have to be very consistent in lead generation. So the leads I had generated for those 3 months came through on the 4th month. This is what we call the lead time, how long it takes you to convert, and the first customer or rather the first lead you interacted with, how long it took. For me, it took 3 months. So it meant that the next 3 months I didn't have a sale, because I started generating leads after I closed the old one.
Yeah.
And so I started learning new things to realize, wait a minute, I have to be constantly generating leads. Anyway, fast forward, within my first year, I qualified for AKI. And
that is amazing. And the people that are in the insurance industry, they know what it takes to qualify for the AKI award. So congratulations on that, Eunice.
You can tell for our listeners who don't know what AKI is.
AKI is Association of Kenya Insurers. They started an award, or rather a competition for the industry. So it's all insurance companies competing. And I qualified for this award, but I made a decision I'm going to qualify in September 2009. And that time I had only 7 applications. Was it 7 or 9? I'm not very sure, but they were less than 10. And I went to my boss. I told him, tell me about AKI. How do I qualify? And he told me I needed to do 30 applications, 30 policies. That time I had, I think, 7 or 9. And I needed to do 1.8 million annualized premium income. That time, remember, I'm below 10. And I told him, I want to do it. And believe you me, by December 31st, I had 30 applications. And 2.1 million annualized premium income.
Wow.
Yes. And that is the time I knew, wow, I'm onto something. But
You're
before
onto
this,
something.
I had gotten a job offer, which was to pay me 70K. Remember, I left a job of 25K.
Yeah.
So in between here, when I was selling zero, I got a job offer to be an IT manager in a company that was paying me 70K. And it was so hard, to not to take that job. The hardest decision was, choosing not to take that job. Because remember, now it means I was going to do more than double my previous salary in less than a year.
Yeah.
But then I figured if guys can see that I can earn more than double in less than a year, then it means in a year I can earn much more. I can do 4 times. So I set a target that by the end of the year, that year 2009, I need to be earning 100,000. And end of January 2010, I earned 100,000.
Wow, that's amazing. And maybe it's something you'd like to ask. And where does this drive, this optimistic drive? Because even the way you're talking about it, I can hear a lot of these bosses and all these people who talk to you. They're like always skeptical about the things you're projecting, the things you want to do. Where does this come from?
If you want me to do something, tell me it cannot be done, because that's what
Okay.
Drive was coming from, wow, it's not possible. And then for me, because I would say I thrive in challenges. When they are the highest of the challenges, that is where I want to go. And so anytime I asked and I was told no, I had go on. That's why in most of my training, I say turn your no into on.
That's good. I'll use that.
That is powerful. That's turn your no into an on. So Eunice, even because of time now, so you start selling, of course, and I know, but then you I don't know if you said the organization you are working with, but it's Britam, if someone is not aware. So you grow, of course, you get promoted, you become a manager, and of course you're doing sales and incredible things. But then you decide to again branch out and open your own company, Bismart, which is an insurtech. And you can check it by the online. It's Bismart. If you Google Bismart, you'll be able to. Is it bismart.co.ke?
Bismart. BISMART.co.ke.
Yes.
Yes. So in 2010, I was promoted to be a unit manager. So I think I was among the few people who joined, and when they're still new, become managers. My boss saw that in me, and I got the promotion. And in 2014, because normally when I get into a place, I put my target. So this is how I decide when to, when it's enough. And so when I started selling, when I got my 100,000 shillings in terms of commissions, then I asked around, what is the highest annualized premium that had been done in that time? I was in Mombasa, the whole of the industry. And I was told it was, I think, like 5 million. Then I decided I'm going to do 10 million. What? When I do 10 million, then I will be done. Okay. I'll not sell insurance again. So in 2013 is when I achieved that. That was in 3 years' time.
Wow.
And when I achieved that, I walked to my boss, the CEO of the life company, and I told him, I am done. I need another job. And of course, he was like, there's no job that can pay you now. You're already earning so much, salary can't pay you. And I said, then it means I've outgrown the organization. So I need to go. Anyway, he introduced me to another CEO. Within the group, there are different companies. He introduced me to the GM of microinsurance. And when I was introduced, I asked, wait a minute, why don't you have a sales manager? And he asked me, are you interested? I said, yes. Why? And you're already doing too well where you are. I said, are you looking for mediocre performers, or are you looking for people who are already doing well? And then he said, send me your CV.
Selling.
Yeah, he said, send me your CV. And I sent my CV. And this is, by the way, for those who are listening, please don't do like me, because I did not even update my CV. I only sent that old CV when I left my training job. Is what I sent to him. And he called and asked me, why are you having such a shoddy CV? I told him, because the best salespeople don't have to keep selling themselves. They know. Because that was an excuse I crafted.
Yeah.
So please make sure your CV is up to date. Don't do like that.
Also, at that moment, you're just thinking on your feet.
Yes, but salespeople think on their feet. They say, because, I'm already good. Why do I need to keep selling myself? And you know it.
Yeah.
So he just laughed. And anyway, fast forward, I got the job. And I started as a country sales manager for microinsurance in Britain. And as I would say I did very well, especially the first year. The product that I was hired to sell, we discontinued the product within the first 4 months, and I had no product to sell. And I'm a sales manager. And I asked my boss, where do you manufacture this product? And he introduced me to the product development committee and said, run with it. And so there I was. We looked at what we had and we're like, okay, we could tweak a few here. And the product we came up with, I went to market, and that year we were able to make a profit. The business was making losses. The previous year they had made huge losses. And that year we were able to make a profit.
Amazing.
Yeah. And
Amazing.
then
Amazing.
after that, I think I get bored quickly when I do the same thing. So after my second year, I sat with my boss and I was like, I think we need to, to diversify. I want to do something new. How about we focus on digital channels? And I'm willing to start afresh. I don't want anything. I don't want more money. I don't want anything. I just want to start afresh. And unfortunately, that did not go. And so I resigned the following year, 2017, and started Bismart.
Wow.
That is how Bismart was started.
That's how Bismart was created.
So Bismart would have been one of the products from there if they had accepted it.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
that chance, they just missed that chance like that.
It happens because of the, big organizations have a lot of structure, a lot of bureaucracies. So sometimes you end up losing what would have been, because yes, Bismart would be part of product in that company. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
Just to quickly summarize, is this year, we recorded the course on ZD last year. Was it? Yeah. The sales
course.
What is it called?
Sales for insurance agents. Super selling.
Yes, super selling for insurance agents.
In fact, in detail, it's digital super selling for insurance agents. But even other sales people can still go through it, because it covers all the aspects of selling.
Yeah, and when we recorded, we've been getting very good feedback from those who are going through the courses. And this year, I decided to go a step further and I started sales coaching because I realized, yes, you go through the course. It's a very good course, but then the accountability bit whereby the how, the doing and coming back and saying, this worked, this did not work. How do I move? So this is what I started this year with 20x entrepreneurs.com. So I started a training and coaching, sales training and coaching company for 20x entrepreneurs.com. This is now for entrepreneurs, all the salespeople from different sectors who want to not only learn how to sell, but actually see results, because I'm results driven. So I don't like to do anything that we can't show, for the results. You realize I always choose the hard part,
Yes.
Because most of the sales training is about, you get inspired and then you go. But I chose the hard part is, let's see results,
Wow.
I'm going to help you do that.
And Eunice, you have an amazing story, and even the course that is on ZD. As you have heard about Eunice, she has background on training. She was mentored and taught on how to train, and she's a great trainer. If you go through that course, you see that. But also, she has a background on IT. She was taught on how to run. She can show you how to run ads on social media, such things, and she takes people through also in that course. It's called a digital super selling course. Of course, I will leave the link below as you listen to the podcast, so that you'll be able to access that course. And Eunice shares the experience that she has acquired. And you see, this is not textbook. It's practical. It's what Eunice has picked up, what has worked and what has not worked. And we have several reviews from people that have gone through the programs. People come back and say, within a week, I was able to sell this and this. We had guys, most people, more so with insurance, they have that fear of selling online because of the myths that Eunice talked about, and how people attack and the people fight and whatever things that happen when you want to sell insurance. And so Eunice helps clear that fear out and then show you how you'll be able to approach people. And we have seen now people move and that fear go, and then they are able now to sell their products online, which is amazing because right now the world is going digital because of COVID. And so if you're not able to take advantage of the digital space that we have, then you are losing out. So I will recommend you check that course out. And as I said, I will leave out the link. But Eunice has also said, once you go through that program, I think you should enroll in a coaching program, which is 20X Entrepreneurship Program, which now takes you to the next level, because you need someone to hold you accountable, to guide you. And so if you search for Eunice Maina, you will find her contacts there. Even when you go to the course, you'll be able to see her there. Even we'll leave even her email address so that you can be able to reach out to her and even communicate. And even if you also reach out to CD, we'll be able to connect you to Eunice so that you enroll in that coaching program. So Eunice, and closing remarks. In fact, even before you close, what are 5 tips? I just want, this is like throwing you into the hot pan, but I know you already have the answers. So like 5 quick tips for sales agents, like for them to become super agents. What are some of the 5 super tips that they should apply in their daily sales work?
1, nothing happens until somebody sells something. 2, selling is not about telling, it's about providing solutions. And number 3, for you to provide solutions, you need to listen to what the problem is so that then you can provide the solution. So basically, God gave you 2 ears, 2 eyes, and 1 mouth. So make use of those. Basically, you listen 4 times and talk once, because eyes are also for listening, observing. So number 4, just know that selling is also about helping your customer to succeed with your product. By this, I mean, Once you have closed the sale, you've got the check. It doesn't end there. Find out, is your customer happy? Are they using the product the way they expected to use it? Is it working for them? So make sure that they succeed with your product, because when they do, then they will tell everybody else. A principle I call the Samaritan woman principle, whereby you go, they go telling everybody, come and see somebody who has solved all my problems. And number 5, remember, your health is your wealth. Take care of you, and you will, you'll be there to make all the money. So take care of your health, go out, move that body, be at your best energy as you sell. And I'm going to add a bonus, number 6, put God first. In everything that you do, commit it to the Lord, because He's the one who gives us the power to generate wealth. All the best.
Thank you, Eunice. And there's some few things I wanted to add. Maybe I add number 7, which I hear Eunice loves saying, is people buy from the people they like and trust. And
oh, yes. Number 7. Remember, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. Think about, how can I make people trust me? And finally, once you have gone through the course, join the coaching program at www.20xentrepreneurs.com.
Yeah. So, and if you want to learn also more how to get people to trust you, she goes into detail in the course. And also, I know she forgot to talk about this too. She has 2 books. One, maybe Eunice, you just briefly 1 minute to talk about the 2 books, so that if someone
Bonnie, it seems I have so much that I keep forgetting. Yes.
Which
I'm an author of 2 books.
What we'll do is we're going to bring you back, of course, so you can talk about the 2 books, but we'll bring you back now to go into detail on sales.
Yes, I'm the author of 2 books. One is Sell Me This Pen. This is a book where I've shared, those myths about salespeople, the challenges that salespeople go through, the opportunities. Basically, I can call it your sales handbook. Please get a copy. I think Textbook Center, we have Sell Me This Pen. And the other book that I launched this year is called Entrepreneurship, Hits and Misses, the Diary of an African Entrepreneur. So if you're planning to get into entrepreneurship, or you're already in entrepreneurship, and you want some stories that can encourage you, or that can kick your back so that you can do better than you're doing, then Entrepreneurship Hits and Misses is your book. You can get a soft copy on www.20xentrepreneurs.com. You can get a soft copy and a hard copy. You can call or just write us an email. Thank you very much, Bonnie. Phone number that people can call. Let me just give my number: 0722 592188. You can. The best way is to chat me on WhatsApp. I'm more active there. Yeah. Or you can visit our social media, Eunice Maina. You can follow me at Eunice Maina on Facebook. On LinkedIn is also Eunice Maina, and Twitter Eunice W Maina.
Okay. So thank you, Eunice, for joining us today. And I know we had a lot to discuss. Because of time, of course, we have had to end it. So, and we will definitely, of course, bring you back now to go into detail on some of the things. We will pick a topic you cover in the course, maybe value proposition, which I really love when I hear you talk about it. Maybe you cover that to just help enlighten people now to craft a powerful value proposition. But even before that, you can go ahead and go through the course. So until then, guys, keep enjoying and listen to the ZD podcast. See you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like and share, comment, get involved. Let us know what you think, what you want to learn next, and join us next time.